Yeah, that's right. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Yor is a total waifu, and I wish she could be my fake assassin wife in a cozy apartment in a big city. She's gotta be at least top 3 mummies. But let's back it up before any new viewers think I'm a total gooner. Though a look at some of my thumbnails might have my goose cooked in that regard. So for those who don't know, this is the latest in a little series I've started where basically I make a video on every series I finish and give my general thoughts on it while you eat lunch or wipe or whatever you're doing while you listen to me in the background. Today's target, Spy X Family, a 3-ish season plus movie series that I binged in like a week and had a total blast watching. Yeah, if you can't tell, I really, really, really liked this show. Like, way more than I thought I would. I was expecting decent comedy, goofy action, and an overall alright anime, but boy was I wrong. What I expected to be a mid-tier weekend waster ended up becoming a candidate for the top 10 shows I've ever frickin' seen. Because they didn't just deliver on the premise, they didn't just cook, they didn't just deep fry, they didn't just saute, but they completely, utterly, unfathomably, and absolutely flambéed this thing. One of my favorite things about manga slash anime industry slash culture is their willingness to pick up a super bizarre premise and just totally run with it, turn it up to 11, honeysuckle your seatbelts because shows like Death Note, Spy Family, Delicious in Dungeon, they'll just pick an absurd idea and run with it to the moon and back and follow it to its logical conclusion. They just hone in on a wacky premise and dive full balls into the deep fryer in order to deliver a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Okay, enough glazing. Let's actually dive into the show instead of me just giving it more lip service than a stick of Burt's Bees chapstick. Or dare I say your mom to me last night. So I'd say arguably the most important part of a show, but really any form of media, is just how it makes you feel. Sure, visuals are important, audio, plot, etc., but why do we really engage with stories in the first place? Usually because we're trying to feel something. And boy, did Spy Fam knock it out of the park. Were the characters, music, setting, etc. amazing? Yes, and we'll talk about it soon enough, but right now I want to tackle what I think is the best part of all. It just makes you happy, dude. Simple as that. In a way that transcends the tangible quality of the show, it just overall makes you cozy and happy, because honestly, I don't really have a single favorite part of the show. My favorite thing about it is just how I can sit down and watch it while feeling safe, chill, with a smile on my face. It's a comfort show for sure. Very feel good, very wholesome. Like the title said, the show just left me wishing I could have the kind of life that it put on display. Just having a loving wife, happy family, living in a comfy, quaint little city, not to mention a super cute dog. But I mean, come on, man, is that too much to ask for? It's just so refreshing to have zero character squabbles, no annoying lies or betrayals, just a happy family. Granted, the parents are lying to each other, so maybe we'll get some drama later down the line. But yeah, long story short, it's just so wholesome and it'll leave you softly smiling even after you're done watching it. It's just a nice show you can watch and know that no one's gonna die and nothing depressing will happen. Okay, enough vagueness and your simping. Time to dig ever so slightly deeper. And I mean barely, because let's be real, I'm just a random dude who's barely qualified to talk about this stuff. Alright, so let's start with the openings because, well, it's pretty self-explanatory, I feel like. But bro, I ain't even gonna lie, these openings were packing some heat. Holy cow! These intros opened harder than a door getting kicked down by the SWAT team at a felon's door. The second one was probably the weakest in my opinion, but that's just because they stepped away from the ultra jazz vibes that I loved from the first two, though it is sung by the same people who did the Delicious in Dungeon opening, so that's a win in my book. But dude, these openings go so hard. They got that bebop flair to them that I've been missing so much. Like, why does no one do Cowboy Bebop style openings? It's been 30 years, but these guys did, and that's why I love it. Crazy jazz, flashy action shots of stylish silhouettes. It's just a wild ride. I love these things. And while we're here, let's go over the endings. And yeah, these were great too. More relaxed and less in your face than the openings, which is nice because you could just sit and have a nice wind down after a fun episode. They perfectly match the chill atmosphere I talked about earlier. Other than the ops and eds, though, the music was fantastic. Nothing particularly like memorable or iconic, but it totally gets the job done. I love the spy Bond style jazz that they always use. If you can't tell, I'm a pretty big jazz enjoyer. Alright, since we're already talking about the production itself, let's go ahead and cover visuals. I think they're fine, pretty standard stuff, with the occasional banger sequence now and then. Nothing totally mind-blowing, but it gets the job done, and it's pretty good. The movie definitely stepped it up. There's some dang good shots in there that were way better than they really needed to be. Though I will say, the art style for Anya's random faces is so goofy, bruh. Also, yours freakouts, which, hey, decent segue to characters, so let's talk about characters. If you can't tell already, characters are probably what I'd say is the strongest part of the show because you can't really have wholesome vibes without wholesome people to tell the story around. I think the biggest surprise to me was Anya. the adopted telepathic kid. I was expecting her to be super annoying little kid character, but sheesh, they wrote her so well. I don't think there's ever really been a child character who didn't low-key get on my nerves, but Anya's voice acting and humor just makes her so likable and cute, and now I wish I had a daughter. Nah, but for real though, it was such a pleasant surprise to have Anya not be a turbo stinker of a character, so nice job, writers. The other characters were pretty much what I expected, so even though I wasn't totally blown away or surprised, they were still really well curated and written, and that also allows them to be really relatable and charismatic as well. Especially Yor. Is it because I'm a simp? 100% yes. Is it also because they did a really good job at making her have a few layers of depth and a ton of likability? Also yes. It's getting a bit hard to go over characters without mentioning a little bit of the plot. These videos are sort of meant to be watchable by anyone, whether they want to gush about a show they've already seen before with me, or looking for a new show they haven't really seen yet, so I'll try not to go way too in-depth on the plot in order to both avoid spoilers and avoid stating the obvious, for non-watchers and watchers respectively. The core premise is simple yet crazy. A professional spy marries a professional assassin, however, neither one of them knows the other's true identity, both thinking they're just a normal person who they're using as their cover story. However, their adopted daughter has mind-reading abilities, which means she knows that both of her parents are lying to each other about what they do, but she hasn't told them yet. This is just the perfect setup for a comedy, a perfect triangle of knowledge and secrets that just sets up so many funny situations with endless possibilities. I won't really spoil any specific plot points or anything, but yeah, wow, this core story idea is just such a banger. A few subplots here and there, but that's the gist of it. Before I totally move on from characters, though, I do just want to mention my favorite one of them all, Bond. Sort of like Anya, I was expecting a lame, cliche, boring little guy, but I'm so glad I was wrong. I don't even really like dogs much in real life. I tolerate them, but wow, I love this dog. I love this dog. Bond is such a goated, floofy little guy, and I would literally die for him. This polar bear is such a little gentleman, and I love him to death, bruh. He also has a strikingly similar backstory to the dog from Cowboy Bebop. I mean, come on, what are the odds that two animes have a makeshift family of misfits that steal a dog during a high-stakes mission and adopt it? But not just that, a dog that was highly valued due to its high intellect due to military study and experiments. I'm just saying, bro, pretty crazy coincidence if so. Lastly, I should probably cover the setting a bit. Honestly, I'd say it's probably its weakest point, but not in a bad way. The setting Spy Fam takes place in does really all it needs to, which is to say, not much. It's pretty much set in a parody of our world with two main countries of Ostania and Westalis, which aren't exactly confusing you on which one is East and West. The overall setting is very reminiscent of Germany during the Cold War, which makes sense given all the espionage shenanigans the show has going on. But yeah, I mean, there's not anything particularly noteworthy with it, just a nice simple backdrop for the elements of the show that really do deserve the screen time to shine. And if you aren't convinced as to how inspired by Germany it is, the capital is literally called Berlin. Alright, lastly, before we wrap things up, I should probably go over the weaknesses the show had, or at least the parts I think could have been better. And honestly, as you can guess, I don't really have much to say as far as weaknesses go. I think the pacing could be a tad slow, where the core plot and conflicts really just don't move very far. I mean, it's been 3 seasons, and we've really only done a teensy part of that main mission. Which, honestly, I don't really see this as too much of a weakness, because slower pacing only means more seasons, which is something I'm totally down for. Other than that, I know I said I love the show because of how safe and cozy it feels. I really would have loved to have just a teensy little bit more tension in some of the finales. The movie was pretty good at this, and the yacht arc also had some nice suspense, but overall, I think we just need an arc or two for both of our main characters to really stretch them and make us feel like, maybe they might actually be in danger this time. Because sometimes the conflict can feel a little too easy, which is fun because it can be played for laughs, but I'd love to have a season finale where you are actually asking yourself if they're going to be able to make it out alive. But there you have it, guys. Another show, another video. Hope you enjoyed. The next show I'll cover will probably be No-Katan, and oh boy, I don't even know where to start with covering that one. Make sure to like and subscribe and stuff if you want to join the Discord perhaps, but whatever you do, love yourself no matter how many enemy assassins you have to kill. Also, little side note, I actually got some Spy X Family trading cards, so I'll be making a video on it soon, so stay tuned if you want to see some anime trading cards. Not just Spy Family, but also Freerin and other stuff like that. Other than that, big thanks to our Taco Trooper channel members who voted for this video. Join if you'd like to have a say in what comes next. Not to mention, you'll see every new video 1 week before release. All hail Frog Wizard, our one and only voter, our dictator. Hope you enjoyed this video 1 week early. Here's the people who answered the question at the end of the last video. My question for you today is, what style of music is your favorite? As you can guess, jazz is mine. Alright fellas, I've rambled enough. See ya.